talk, he said, about 10 minutes. Now, how am I going to fight the Korean War in 10 minutes? Well, I'm not going to get on that too hard. I was raised in this community, born in 1931, September the 25th, gay and Brady Craig, gay. And the Assembly of God came to Whitefield that year. And my mother tells me that she dedicated me to the Lord. I said, now what does that mean, Mother? What do I got to do? I was, 10 or 12. And she said, well, you have to serve the Lord. You'll look after me. I live where I live right now. And right across the road from John and Jane's house was the Methodist Church. And it wasn't attended too well, and they just banded it, I think, in 42 toward them. But they were having summer revival there, and I think I was 11. And I got dressed up and went over there one night, went to church during that revival, and Mother went for Lord. But I was on the end of the pew, and Brother James Parson, Willie Lee was down right in the pew. It wasn't very many people there. But the preacher preached. The Lord had hold of me. And I was standing there holding on to that pew. I mean, I needed to go, and I was holding, and I couldn't hold no longer. And I stepped out, And he said, all you got to do is just come shake my hand. Well, I was 10, 11 years old, and that's what I did. I shook his hand and went back to my pew. Well, I was supposed to get signed up, and join the church. I don't know what all, but I didn't do that. But I'm going to tell you something. I didn't get saved when I shook his hand. But when I took that first step out in the house, the Lord met me. And he's been with me ever since. I've shamed him by not living for him the whole time. 1949, November the 7th, me and Mr. Wheatley down here, Louis Wheatley, made our trip to Memphis. Went to the Stewart Building and signed up for the United States military or Army or Navy or whatever they had, I was 18, he was almost 20. We were going to stay together, but we stayed we didn't even make it through the day. We were separated. He went one way and I went the other, and went wherever they wanted me, that's okay. I didn't care. But I got some good training in South Carolina, over Jackson. Some of you guys probably did too. Weather was perfect from November to March, and just right, shirt sleeve weather. 16 hard weeks of basic training. Now, how many people get 16 weeks? But I got it. I knew spit and polish, and I knew how to crawl in the mud when I left there. So I wound up in Fort Lewis, Washington, from one end of the country to the other, with the old Indian head patch. And if you have watched some of these boys overseas right now, you'll see that Indian head patch show there. I'm proud of that old big red-headed dude. We tried to do him well while we served. Fought the Korean War the best we could. I thought when we landed at Pusan and got off of that ship, that was the stinkiest place. That was the stinkiest place I ever smelled. Smelled just like garlic, all garlic. We got off that ship, and at night we slipped up through town and got on the little train. Rode about 2 or 3 hours and went to our outfit for our trucks. guns were. And I was artillery. You know, had infantry training, but I was artillery. And we went into war the next day. We were busy. First time we got into it, it scared me to death. I got down under the truck and I was so scared I couldn't talk. That was a miserable feeling. But you know, once I got over there, it never bothered me no more. Life is what it is. I've heard guys that was wounded cry, pray, holler, you know, run. But then things get rough enough now. Like David said, you get scared now, and you're worse than scared. You scared. We fought the Koreans. I'm going to tell you, while I was in combat, and I'm not going to be much longer. While I was in combat, in fact, it was the same night that we were captured. We were in this area set up, and you know, we pick up lead most any time. What I mean, hour or two, we could be sitting somewhere else. But our guns and everything was set up, and we had designated areas to go to, should we get under attack. And me and an old Mexican boy that I worked pretty close to, Del Bosque, and Acito Del Bosque, I don't know what that means the rest of my life. Lives in Dallas, Texas. They hadn't seen since the war. But he and I kind of teamed up, and we always dug our foxhole together. And we had one every night. And everybody was supposed to. And ours was down here on the far end. When we got under attack, we had truck it off down there and get that foxhole and get ready. You know, you defended that end of the back. Well, we had an old boy in our outfit, big old tall boy from West Virginia, fat and lazy. Not real fat. His shoe, he like a 14-year-old boy. His feet was too long, and he was clumsy. Wasn't worth 15 cents. But he never would dig a hole. He was too lazy to dig a hole. Boy, we got it in there one night. We were sleeping in the tent. Big old Mexican. Some rounds started coming in, and they didn't have to ring a bell till you get up. It was time to get to that hole. And come out of there, man, I scrambled out of there, me and that old Mexican boy, and he beat me down there, and when I got there, the Mexican was in there, and there was old Sid from West Virginia. Get out of there, man, get out of that hole. Oh, no, okay, I don't want to get out of my hole, I gotta get out. I jumped in on top of it. I was laying with this much of my torso was on top of the ground. I bent looking, feet down. And I heard a mortar. You ever heard a mortar? The mortar comes straight down. It don't do like this. It shuts up and comes straight down. If you hear it, it's close. And laying there in the moonlight, shining out across his feet, and I heard, where's these close, you know? I kept waiting. It didn't go. Where in the world is it? And my eyes adjusted to that field, and he was stuck up right out there in front of me. He got off and blew me hell. Wow. You know, why? Somebody was watching that old Carlton. Yeah. Three times that very night. I looked at him. Somebody said, boy, what made you commit your life to the Lord? Why did you pray? He said, bring me home. It was time for me to pray. And I did. I'm telling you now, after that happened, I knew I was supposed to be dead. That thing would kill me. we were moving on. The next time, we were in pretty hot back. We done left the trucks and everything behind us. They done run us off. Just run us off. We couldn't even stay with them. Had a big roadblock. We couldn't move them. And we was kind of small arm stuff, you know, running and hiding and whatever you could do. I got behind this great big rock. Man, I bet it was this big around. When they got to shooting at me, it was about this big around. There was 3 of us behind that thing. And, you know, if you fire, you draw fire to you. And we did a little bit. We drew some fireworks. And while we was kind of waiting around, here come one of them boys, some of our guys, come sliding in down beside of me, right beside him. And there was 3 of us laying down behind the rock, and he was coming. And fire was going on, and he got hit in the leg. He said, "Oh, man, I've got to go." And he got up and he hobbled off, you know. A little bit, here comes another through there. He slid in there, and he was laying on me. His chest and his arm was laying on me. And he got hit. And I rolled him off of him. He did. Wow. You know, and when I was trying to go into getting my nerves settled and trying to get into the VA, get a little something here, and I told him about it, you know, he said, "Well, you talking about somebody called a bullet for you." That's exactly what I'm saying. And I don't know who that man was, and it was nighttime. But I'm thankful today that I'm alive because of him. He wasn't giving his life for me, but he did. He didn't intend to do it. Think somebody wasn't looking out for me? Then I went through this prisoner of war thing. And most of us died. We didn't make it. Most of us did. But we who did are very grateful. But why did I get all this protection? What was going on here? In this church, well, in this building, it was over, that building over there, the other side here, that church. There was a praying group of people. And one in particular, my mother, she knew where I was. And she told me to go to the middle, to the table to eat. She said, "That boy hurt." He was. She wouldn't eat. You know, talking hard times. Now I'm going to tell you this. Our country today is headed, if we don't get it turned around, getting headed toward socialism. And I'm going to tell you, I've had a taste of it. You don't want it. We don't want it. I sat on the cold ground, icy cold ground, while I was in prison camp, and for 2 winters, listening to a Chinese about that mess, and an interpreter couldn't talk no better than he could, and we was forced to do it, sit and listen to how great it is and how bad U.S. is, and how this great country that we in is so corrupt that it just, well, finally we just absolutely rebelled and just cheer them and holler and carol and drown them out. And they named us, they said, "Well, you're reactionaries, you don't learn nothing." So the last year I was there, I was free of listening to that garbage. But I heard enough of it and said, "No, I don't want no part of it. No part of it." Amen. We had a hard first one. That's when we lost everybody. About to freeze to death, starve to death. What that didn't kill you, the ice did. Boy, when it got warm and the ice thawed where we could get a bath, you ought to seen them old cruddy, nasty guys. jumping in that water, getting back. It was the backwater to the Yalu River, where we were, right there. And we done had the same blows on all the way along. It was all we had. But we survived. We ate corn and millet, and sometimes didn't eat it all. And to get there, we walked all the way from the middle of Korea all the way up to where we were, there right up to the Yalu River, all the way to North Korea. Walked all night long, every night, for 30 days. But we made it, you know. I'm going to tell you, our group was in pretty good shape. That bunch that Don Laster, Don, this was right here, he's one of our guys. He was with that bunch. And he was with that old mean Korean that killed so many of our guys. If you fell out in that group, he'd shoot somebody, and he'd shoot him in the head right there in front of everybody. I think he would take the highest ranking man. This man fell out, you get the highest ranking man and pull him out and shoot him. I mean, you walked if you didn't have one leg. That kind of pressure. But I didn't see that. We had men who did fall behind, and we didn't see them anymore. But I can't say they were killed. Maybe they were put on trucks and carried somewhere. I don't know. Preacher asked me when he said, "Can you talk?" I've been gone. David, I'm doing this too. He said, "Can you talk 10 minutes?" Yeah. Then he said, "Were you a Christian while this was going on, while you were there?" You know, I couldn't answer. I knew I made that little trip when I was 10 years old. And there wasn't no doubt in my mind that the Lord came into my life right there. But I didn't stay with him. Later on as a teenager, I made the trip again. Time to do it. Most teenagers do during a revival. At some time. I didn't forget the Lord. And he didn't forget me.
Amen.
And I prayed. I never quit praying. I wasn't living for him, but I never forgot how to pray. But that one of those times when it looked like I wasn't going to make it back, I said, "Lord, just get me home. Get me home, and I'll be your man." He did. I'm here today because the Lord was saying that. He say you got a guardian angel. Boy, I'll tell you what, you can't convince me we don't. We got somebody saying that. Got home in pretty fair shape. Can't hear, can't see, got no hair. Nerves are bad. But I'm here, both feet on the floor. One thing, let me tell you this. Old Lewis down at Lewis Creek, every year on the 7th day of November, he knocks on my door. Comes in and says, "Well, man, we made it one more year, didn't we?" We did indeed. We did indeed. He said, "I thank the good Lord that we in good shape, that we're getting old, but we can get our feet on the floor every morning." Amen. Good. I'm just thankful I got 2 feet put on the floor. But when I made my commitment to the Lord, I meant it. And when I got home, I messed around a while. My time was about to run out. The Lord didn't forget me. Boy, he worked on me. In 1960, and Miss Maxine was at church, preaching. We was here at church on Sunday morning, and preacher preached, and I was under conviction so bad I couldn't understand it. I was shaking him up, and he didn't even do altar call. So I went home for dinner, didn't usually come back on Sunday night. Sunday night, we back to church again. Then he preached. Holy Spirit was working overtime. Then here come Mother. Come on, boy. You need to get in this altar. She didn't have to ask me more but one time. I said, I'll never see Maxine no more. She'll leave me for good. She'll leave me. She'll be gone. You know what? I got through praying, I looked over and there she was. And she's been a good wife to me, good partner, good mother to my children. We've had a good life, and I'm thankful for this church and what it means to me. And we've served it hard and well down through the years. But in our old age, man, we just, just about done played out. just like Lewis, we had to get both feet on the floor. I salute our guys in the military.